Okay, would you rather not have elbows or not have knees?
Elbows.
Well, you can jerk off then.
Yo,
Well, maybe Nico can, but I got some long ass arms.
good, yo.
I got some long. Look at me. How am I supposed to?
Hello and welcome to another episode of 7 Days Makes 1 Week. My name's Freddie P, and the place to be, back in producer Zach's living room. We are joined again immediately to my left by young Nico Ursik, and our first guest on the pod officially, my good friend Dan Zaretsky on the far end there, and of course producer Zach behind the camera. We usually get up to what everybody got up to in the week that was, blah blah blah. But right before we were recording, Nico was telling us some stories that he's having some internet banning troubles this week, and I told him to put it on the pod. So continue.
Okay, so the first one was a Facebook group that I was in. It's called Soccer Fans in Edmonton, and I got into it with the moderator because back when Canada was qualifying for the World Cup, he made a post and it said something along the lines of, "Am I the only one who doesn't care about Canada? Like, everybody's so hyped." He's like, "Yeah, I guess good on them and stuff, but yeah, I don't really care about them, blah, blah, blah." And yeah, I took that personally because
We were on that hype train hard.
yeah, big time. And not to mention, it's like, bro, you came here from England and you came here from England and you are now living in Canada. You should be at least a little bit like stoked, you know what I mean? Anyways, he made a post yesterday or the day before about Real Madrid, and he said something along the lines of
Real Madrid, who played in the Champions League final yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
Against his team, Liverpool.
That's right. And he's like a massive Liverpool fan because that's where he's from. Anyways, he said something along the lines of, are you Real Madrid fans? All you Real Madrid fans who have been only fans for 2 weeks, are you guys all worried or whatever?" And like, I made a comment or whatever. He didn't respond to it. But then I'll fucking have a puff. He didn't respond to it, but then another guy made a comment saying something along the lines of, "You're just like Millwall," which is it's a shitty team in England. "You're just like Millwall. Nobody likes you anymore." So then I commented saying, "Yeah, you're right. He was a lot cooler when he was sniffing blow off of the FC Edmonton bathroom stalls." And then like 6 hours later, I'm no longer part of the group, and it's just like, the truth fucking hurts, you know what I mean? So
I'm not saying he snorted blow at the FC Edmonton games, but he'd show up and then disappear for about 15, 20 minutes
Yeah,
and
man.
come back in a good mood.
and then
week.
like you would see Fred and I would be standing there in the stands, and then you would see him and another guy that are like fucking ear to ear. They're like talking about something, like you could tell they're doing something shady. And I was like, "Yo, I've done drugs before. That's like, they're up to something, you know what I mean?" And so, yeah, I could tell that they were all fucked up.
And we did have a listener question for our first time listener questions about our worst drug experience, so we'll get back to that later.
Yeah.
Your second banning of the week.
Okay, so I was on Bumble, and okay, so you know how people be swiping, just randomly swiping? Well, I end up getting a match, and it's a fucking tranny. Okay, so this person sends me a message, "Hey, how's it going?" And my response was, "You have a penis, don't you?" ... So time goes by, a couple days goes by, I go and open Bumble, and it says something along the lines of like, "Oh, recently we've been more tolerant," or
Less tolerant.
well, no, more tolerant towards pronouns and fucking shit like that. So there were like, I had to do this thing. It's like, pick your pronoun and fucking blah, blah, blah. I didn't pick one because I don't have one. So anyways, I get a fucking email from them saying like, "Oh, your account's been flagged for fucking I don't know. I don't even remember what they said. It's been flagged because you, I don't know, are a bigot or some shit like that. And I messaged them back.
Bigotry and hate speech?
Yeah, I sent them a message back. I was like, yo, like, what the fuck? I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything malicious. I just asked. This is probably where it got me legit banned. I said, all I did was ask a tranny if she had a fucking dick. And then so another couple days passes. I check my email. And then they're like, after we've reviewed your account, blah, 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 things have been escalated. You have now officially been banned. And yeah, like I sent them another message basically saying like, yo, I didn't do anything wrong. Like I didn't do anything malicious. I literally asked a male if he had a fucking penis. And yeah, I don't think I got a message back so far. So I'm no longer on Bumble
permanent
Ladies.
ban or just a temporary?
I think it's permanent.
Shitty deal,
Yeah.
man.
So I might have to make a burner account.
Like Kevin Durant?
Yeah, I might have to make a burner account for my Facebook group to get back in there. And
Vino Suavito is back.
Keep giving it back to him. Fucking got to go in there and tell him that Liverpool are trash, even though that.
Just like Arsenal?
Yeah, Arsenal's garbage. Yeah, so I got to go back in there and give it to him because Liverpool lost yesterday.
Yeah, they did. We could talk about that for a little bit, too. Liverpool had Real Madrid yesterday for the Champions League final. Real Madrid win their 14th European Cup, Champions League, whatever you want to call it. They're far and away. I think they got double the next team. I think the next team has 7 or 8. 1-0. For all intents and purposes, Liverpool were the better team. They had more shots on target. Thibaut Courtois, the Real Madrid goalkeeper, made 9 saves. Apparently, XG is a stat that they make in soccer called expected goals. And apparently he stopped 2.5 expected goals from going in. So that means, like, statistically speaking, from where the ball was going, where the player was shooting from, blah, 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 Liverpool should have scored 2.5 times. But Thibaut Courtois is a fucking monster. And Real Madrid had 1 shot on target, and it was pretty much a tap-in.
Pretty much,
at the back post from Vinicius Jr. Some bad defending by who's usually a really good defender, Trent Alexander-Arnold. But, yeah, he got caught slacking, snoozing at the back post, and there was a tap-in, and Real Madrid went on to win 1-0. So they pretty much had, like, the craziest Champions League run of all time. And how they had to continue to come back against people. It was pretty crazy. But, yeah, what do you have to say? Obviously wearing your Champions League Real Madrid jersey.
Gotta rep it. Yeah, I think Thibaut Courtois saved them big time. There was the one save he made against Mo Salah. That's a goal any other time. I don't know. Mo Salah
and he had a crazy save on Sadio Mane early on, too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was sleeping for that one. I came home and had a nap, and I woke up for the second half, and that's the only half that really mattered.
He pushed the Sadio Mane shot into the post, and then it came back into him, and he caught it.
Oh, really?
Like, Sadio Mane should have scored like 20 minutes in.
Well, I know Real Madrid got a goal called off.
For an offside that was apparently quite controversial because it came off a Liverpool player. The offside rule for soccer is, if you don't understand the basics, I'm not going to get into it, and I don't know, fast forward the next 2 minutes. But if you understand the basics of it, apparently if you're in that offside position behind the defender, but the defending team plays the ball to you, there's no more offside. You're good to go. And apparently a Liverpool defender, I didn't actually see it, but apparently a Liverpool defender like lunged in to get the ball and then tipped it to the Real Madrid player. So then the refs were saying that, well, he didn't like intentionally play it, but it's like, well, he intentionally made the tackle, where like, that's playing somebody onside. So from what I heard, a lot of the people were saying that they almost think the VAR referee, who's the video assistant referee, who's the guy sitting in a room way over there with all the TV screens. Hockey fans will know Toronto.
He's in Toronto.
Yeah, but for soccer, it's not like that. I don't think the guy's in the stadium, but it's not a central place like Toronto, at least not that I know of. Maybe it is, whatever. They have an office with a bunch of screens where they watch replays and they make the decision. At the time, the assistant referee on the field raised his flag for offside. So the big controversy is they think the VAR ref was just backing that guy up to like make that he was right. as opposed to like making the right decision.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but either way, Real Madrid won. Thibaut Courtois saved them. They made good on their chances, and they deserve to win the title, in my opinion. They had the craziest run, like Fred said. They came back like fucking 3 times
in 3 separate knockout round stages. They had come back. They came back from for sure 2, if not 3-0 to PSG. They came back against Chelsea. They actually technically lost the second leg against Chelsea, but it was a comeback at the end of the second leg that got them through on aggregate. Because there's no more aggregate, sorry. It's just total goals. So
what does that mean, aggregate? Sorry?
How soccer used to work, at least in the Champions League, there was like a home and away. Aggregate means the combined over both legs of the game. So there's 2 games. I'm actually good on this. You good on that?
Yeah, I'm good.
There's actually like a home and an away leg where I play at your home and you play at my home. And if I win 1-0 at home, but then you beat me 3-1 when you're home, the aggregate score is 3-2. And then they used to have this thing called home and away goals. So I was actually kind of confused a couple seconds ago when I misspoke. Aggregate's still a thing. Home and away goals are no longer a thing. So for that aspect, if I won 1-0 at home, then we went to your place and you won 3-2. So it was 3-3 on aggregate. I had 1-0 and then 3-2. It's 3-3. I would win because I scored 2 away goals and you scored 0 away goals.
Mm-hmm.
So it would try to
make you better at the other players.
It would try to entice people to attack when you're away from home because you want to score an away goal. Now they took that out and it's just straight up aggregate. So if we finished like that 1-0 and 3-2, we would just be going to extra time and then to penalties, which is now an advantage to whichever team is at home second. Because if there is extra time and penalties, that's more time as a home game in your leg.
So which style would you guys prefer?
I don't mind either, to be honest with you.
But if you were playing the game, which one would you prefer? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I've never thought about that.
Like, what would suit you guys better?
Like a level that I've played sports, I've never experienced a home and an away thing, but that would be kind of cool. Because the way that they see it, if you're home second, you're just gonna like defend like a motherfucker for the first leg when you're away, and it's gonna be like
you scored
super
an away
unattractive.
Goal. Right.
Even if you didn't, if there's no like, you're just gonna defend, and then attempt to score at home or whatever. They want the away goal to entice people that are away from home to like, no, go attack. It's important. If you score away, that could make the difference. If it's 1-1, but you scored away, you win. So I understand how that's like enticing, but it almost kind of worked in the opposite, where the first team that was at home would just bunker down and then just hope to snag the away goal in the second. Like, there's 2 rules, like 2 schools of thought to it, and I don't know, it is what it is. But we shouldn't have got there. Anyway, Chelsea beat them in the second leg against Real Madrid, and then they were down against City. They lost the first leg. They didn't have a shot on target for fucking...
4-3 they lost the first leg, right?
Yeah, it was 4-3 the first leg. Crazy game of soccer. They were losing the second game, down 2 goals. They didn't have a shot or...
Till the 90th, 80th.
They were down 1 goal in the second leg, pardon me. And then they scored really late to level it up. I can't remember exactly how. No, because they
scored 2 goals in 90 minutes. Rodrigo came on and scored 2 goals in 90 minutes.
Sorry, not in 90 minutes. In the 90-plus minutes.
Yeah, in the 90-plus minutes, yes.
But City had a 4-3 advantage. So City was up 1-0, but 5-3 on aggregate. So to tie it up, Real Madrid had to score twice. There's injury time in soccer because when the ball goes out of bounds, when one of the guys is on the ground rolling around faking an injury, the clock doesn't stop. The referee just records all that time. Then it gets added to the end of each half. So it went into that injury time, and Madrid had to score twice. They didn't even have a shot on target the whole game. They score twice to force overtime and then get a penalty in overtime or extra time, whatever you want to call it, and then score to win it, which is like the craziest comeback ever. And then they go on to beat Liverpool with 1 shot on target. It was actually like a very, very crazy run to the final that they had.
That change to the goals away to goals at home and the aggregate thing, is that only for the Champions League, or is that like for all European leagues? Or
I want to say it's for the Champions League, Europa League.
Yeah, Europa Conference League. I think that's the only thing where it really was a thing. I can't think of it being a thing in any other competition besides those three. The Champions League, the
Yeah,
Europa League.
or what
it
about,
doesn't
like-
happen in league play.
What about
Oh,
like
what
the
about like
FA
the FA
Cup?
Cup and shit? Yeah. I don't know. It might just be in those European leagues. I'm
Well,
not
I
sure.
think in like the FA Cup, there's like, you know how we have a round of 16?
Yeah.
I think it's like hundreds
Hundreds.
of teams.
The big boys don't even come into like round 4 or 5.
Yeah, so like all the teams in England.
Yeah, we should explain what the FA Cup is.
Yeah. So all the teams in England from, I'm pretty sure it's like, I don't know, there's like 5 divisions in England.
I think it's 8.
Okay, maybe there's like 8. And I'm pretty sure all of those teams play in a, not a group stage. I'm pretty sure it's a single knockout.
Yeah, I think so too.
Up until a certain point.
So to put it in like North American terms, it would be like if every NHL team, every OHL team, every AHL team,
Every team in every team in Alberta, I would say.
Yeah, that's a better. You're right. Take somewhere like Alberta or Toronto or whatever, and it'd be like the Flames and the Oilers and the Red Deer Rebels and the Oil Kings,
Medicine Hat, fucking
the Tigers. It would literally be your local pub team, because in the English tier, only the top 4 are like professional players. After that, you start becoming like a semi-professional player.
Yeah.
So you could actually be a semi-professional player, and if you put together a historic run, come up against like Manchester United and shit like that. So you could
Yeah.
literally be like a beer league team, like the one that Ryan Smith plays for outside Edmonton, and fucking play against the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
Which is the magic of the FA Cup that they always talk about.
Anybody could win, right?
Well, it's always the big boys, but yeah.
For the most part. Yeah.
Though the funny videos that I love are the YouTube videos where you see the little minnow team get drawn against that massive team, and they know they're gonna get obliterated, but they
they're still-
celebrate like they
yeah,
just won because it's like,
yeah.
yo, I get to play against them. That's so
Yeah.
like I think that's so cool.
Yeah, for sure. That would be sick.
The reason I didn't get to watch the Champions League final yesterday is because Big Dan and I went on a drive. Dan works at the car dealership that I used to work at, and to make some extra money, we'll do some of the delivery runs. So yesterday, him and I drove up to Grand Prairie to deliver a pretty nice Denali to somebody, and then we drove back. But right when we were passing, what is it called, Jennifer Heel Way or something like that?
Jennifer Heil.
Yeah.
Hill turn off. Yeah, exactly. So
Jennifer-
6:30 in the morning, we're driving by that overpass on the Yellowhead by Spruce Grove, and we came up on a massive splatter of blood and some chunks of flesh all over the highway.
And I literally just like I swear to God, I distinctly remember glancing at it and seeing like a piece of white, like pale flesh, and thinking in my head like, that didn't look like fur on an animal, dude. Like I remember thinking that and being like, that's fucked up. And like, but him and I, he was in the front vehicle and he was in the chase vehicle technically, but he's in front of me, and I'm driving the vehicle that we delivered. And like he said, it's like 6:30 in the morning. There isn't very many people out there, and it was like a pretty big splatter of blood. And yeah, we both just doop, you know, we just went over it. I did think though in my head, I was like, man, that kind of looked like human flesh. Then anyway, we go up to Grand Prairie, and as we're returning,
Yeah, as we're coming back. Well, in the moment when we drove by, I was also thinking, that's an odd place for deer or moose to be splattered. And that was an awfully fresh, massive, like, pool of blood there. I was like, I don't see any fur bits. Usually when you hit a baby moose or something, you see the
Yeah.
head at least,
Yeah.
or a leg or something. Didn't see nothing of that. Just a bunch of flesh pieces and a massive pool of blood. Anyways, we went up to Grand Prairie, did our thing. We're coming back. So it's around 2 p.m. now as we're passing by the same spot. And yeah, there's just the whole highway shut down on that side. There's
yeah, we
like
can
8
just notice
cop
there's
cars.
no traffic on the other
Yeah.
side of the Yellowhead. We're like, huh.
And then we started questioning. And the thing is, when he jumped in the vehicle in Grand Prairie, that's the first thing I pretty much asked him about. I was like, did you see that massive fucking pool of blood? And we're like, yeah, that was fucking weird, right? And then, yeah, we drove by it.
We even kind of said, like, he even said to me, like, that almost looked like too much blood to be a human. And, like, as you know, I look at, like, murder scene shit. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, man. Like, that very well. Like, I was like, I was like, I don't know, dude. Like, that.
Whatever got hit, it disappeared. It just turned into
Chunks.
blood chunks. Yeah.
There was no
Disintegration.
like he said, like when you see a deer or whatever, you still see like the corpse of it. There was no like chunk like that. It was just pieces.
Yeah,
Obliteration.
tiny pieces,
Dude,
yeah.
piece like it was the chunk that I saw was maybe, and I'm quite sure I saw one of at least the bigger chunks that I focused on, and it was maybe the size of like an NFL football.
Damn.
Yeah, dude, like it was wild.
And then,
Damn.
so highway shut down. We're frantically trying to figure out, like, hey, what's going on? Like, so, Fred starts looking up news stories, can't find nothing.
The
So-
cops got it all shut down. There's like the highway vehicle scene investigation. You know
Yeah,
that
there's,
truck
like-
that always comes?
Yeah, black big van.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
big
there's like
van.
8 cop cars sitting there, and there's people taking photos, walking on the highway. There's people putting down, little like evidence plates essentially, so they can take a photo of it and number it or whatnot. And yeah, we were really concerned because we had just driven over that scene several hours prior, and it looked hella fresh. Yeah, we couldn't find anything at the moment, but then several hours later, opened my Facebook up, and yeah, there's people saying apparently somebody jumped off the overpass and decided to end their life, or well, we don't know.
I just
Somebody
looked it up.
got
I just
hit
looked
there.
up what. So he
Yeah.
screenshotted it and sent it to me.
Yeah.
Somebody posted in the comments. It says, "Someone posted on a mom's group that this actually happened at 3 a.m. Is 16 still blocked? Apparently, it was a pretty horrific scene. It was pretty gnarly. It's still blocked off. It's still blocked off. What was that? A jumper? Because it was right next to the overpass, like right on the other. Like
Yeah.
as you drove under the overpass, it was right there. And then someone writes, yes, someone did jump off the overpass. Someone writes, hopefully it was my ex-wife. pretty
Can you send
gnarly.
me that? Can you send me that link?
Yeah, I'll
throw it
put
up on
them
the
all
video?
up.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool,
and then yeah, we
thanks.
drove through this morning. I thought a deer got hit, but my husband said there is no way that is animal flesh, and that's what I was thinking too. Like that wasn't. And then yeah, it's just a bunch of people tagging people and blah blah blah. But then the little release from the people says Parkland RCMP are currently on the scene of a sudden death on Highway 16 at the Jennifer Heel overpass. At this time, westbound traffic is being diverted via the access ramp to continue west. However, traffic is extremely backed up and slow moving. RCMP are asking the public to avoid the area. An update will be sent for further information when it becomes available. But yeah, it was
That's
pretty wild.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how quick we'll get an update on that. There's not really much evidence to go off of to figure out who or what that was. So
Hopefully
That's
the
gonna be a
teeth are
minute.
somewhere, I suppose. their only options is DNA and teeth. That's their only options.
And if they have that
If they
person's
have the teeth.
DNA.
yeah, exactly.
Or
Yeah,
the
have that in
teeth.
database.
Well, almost all of us have teeth impressions at dentists and shit, right? That's a big reason why
Yeah.
they take them when you're a
Yeah,
little
if they
kid.
can't find the teeth, then if
But
they
even then, they have to find a couple to like
Yeah,
match it
yeah.
up. One tooth is not going to match up to like whole
pro-
dental print.
they
right?
probably aren't gonna find that shit. Unless
So that was super gnarly to drive over.
Well, and they had at least, if it happened at 3 a.m, there was at least more than 6 hours of like downtime where like
For
Well,
sure.
it
yeah.
happened and the
Because
police
we
showed
got
up.
there
You guys
by
got there at
6 a.m.
6 and there was
so
nobody there, right?
3 hours, not even, no one. Like,
Yeah,
like he
'cause-
said, it was almost like it might have been like 4:30. Like, dude, it almost looked like, I mean, like the blood almost still looked wet.
Yeah, like that
Like,
shit was fresh.
damn.
Like,
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
It was fucking gnarly, man. I've never seen a dead body like that before. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a dead body, but not like that. That was, and I mean, it was a split second. We just drove past it, but the 1 second where you focus on what it is, yeah, man, I saw like a big old, looked like a chunk of thigh.
Damn. That's fucked.
Well, yeah, you're just casually driving over it. However many thousands of people drove over that without
Yeah,
knowing what it
man.
is. I mean, that's kind of fucked. But
Well, and that's like I was gonna say is, how do you think that it became to that point?
I was just wavelengths. Him and I were talking about that too. Like, what vehicle was the first vehicle,
Yeah.
second vehicle,
Yeah.
third vehicle to smash into that thing? Obviously, they didn't pull over and notify. Yo, I
yeah,
just fucking
they just
smashed
kept
this
going. They're
thing.
like, "Oh, I just fucking hit something."
Voof, voof,
well,
voof.
if it happened at 3 a.m, that's really dark out there. There's no street lighting in that area. Thinking maybe it was a tired trucker or something, not paying attention. All of a sudden,
Yeah,
he's like, "What the fuck was that?" Half wakes up from hitting something. I mean, if
Thinks
it
it's
jumps
a
off the
coyote or
overpass,
something?
you have no idea. You're not going to see it because it's not going to hit your headlights because it's coming from the top, right?
I was thinking about that later in the day.
It would
Do
have
you
to be
think the
perfect
person
timing.
waits for the vehicle coming, or do you think the person just swan dives head first and then they were just a
probably waited
corpse
and
on the
timed that
ground?
shit perfectly because that, like you said, like that was like I'm thinking if a semi hit a person, it would kind of drag them underneath it. It wouldn't just
Get
evaporate
rolled
them,
over and
but
out of the
it
way
looks
and
like they
shit.
hit him like mid-air or something like that. Like the grill just chopped up whatever that was. And then again, did somebody jump? Did somebody get pushed?
Yeah.
They're already dead and they got disposed of that way. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
Didn't
what's
even
going
think-
on?
think
I
of
didn't
that.
think about that either. Yeah,
No.
I just immediately thought the guy was a jumper. Could be anything. Maybe somebody
Yeah.
pushed him.
Yeah, might not
You
have
could
been
have
a
been already
jump.
dead, like you said,
Yeah, like I
already
said,
dead.
it's the middle of nowhere. It's completely dark. Like, you could easily do whatever you fucking want out there and then be out of there in no time. And
Yeah,
nobody's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
have
You're
any
just
idea.
far enough out of the city, you're not gonna get caught by a
There's
camera.
no cameras out. There's nothing. Yeah. It's fucked.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
This is like kind of it popped into my mind as we were talking about that. It is a slight subject change. Well, it's a big subject change. But have any of you guys heard of this Netflix documentary called Our Father?
I seen it on there and I watched a little blurb about it, but yeah, I got an idea of what happened. I haven't watched it though.
You guys care if I spoil it for you?
No, go right ahead.
Well, you could tell us the premise or the base.
Okay, yeah, I'll just tell you the premise. Yeah, so I'll tell you what happens within the first couple minutes of the movie, not giving away much.
It's a movie.
It's a
Series.
movie, yeah. That's just the one. It's an hour and 45
Documentary?
minutes. Documentary? Yeah.
Okay,
Did I
yeah.
say docu-series? Whatever,
Mm.
documentary, whatever, on Netflix. This woman knows that it wasn't her dad. I'm pretty sure at least the first girl knows that she's not her dad's, that she's from, like, artificial insemination because her dad couldn't, whatever, but they wanted a kid, blah, 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 blah. So they went to a sperm bank. Apparently the rule is for sperm banks that... And if all three of us just went and became sperm donors, your sperm can only be used for 3 kids. You're only allowed to have 3 offspring by way of that. After that, that's it, that's all. This woman went and did like 23andMe, and when you do 23andMe, it tells you all of your siblings and family members, cousins, second cousins, blah, blah, blah. It makes a big web for you. And, for instance, I did it, and my first cousin that lives in the States... Her and I shared like 15% DNA. So I'm not sure what you share with your immediate family. My brother and my parents haven't. I guess 50-50 for your parents.
No.
What
I
is it?
got I have like, okay, so what I thought when I was younger before I did this was that I was Italian, Portuguese, Yugoslavian. It was Slovenian. Now that I've done it, I'm actually like 55% Portuguese, 35% Slovenian, 4% Italian, and then like a couple other things here and there, nothing too crazy.
African Hasidic Jew or something like that. There was one wild thing I remember you
yes,
telling me.
yeah. So my dad did it the other day too. So I share 49% or like.
Yeah, look it up real quick if you don't mind. I'll continue telling the story about this movie. Because that's actually... none of my immediate family has done it, so I'm actually really curious to see.
I've had multiple family members done it. My dad's done it. My older sister's done it, and my 2 younger sisters have done it.
Oh, really? And all of you in the same app, whatever.
Yeah, my
company.
cousin has also done it. So like I have like
Yeah, dude, because I only have the one cousin, and it says that her and I share 15% DNA.
Yeah,
But anyway, this one girl, like the main character, I guess, of this movie, goes to get this test done, and it comes back that she has 7 siblings. So
Damn.
right then and there, you're like,
Yeah.
wait, what? We're only supposed to have 3.
Yeah.
Last thing I'm going to say. The doctor operating the facility is very much so involved.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, you guys should watch it. We'll talk about it next week, and our like 6 viewers can
Yeah.
also watch it.
I think
Talk about
Katie's
it
watched
next
that
week.
before.
It's pretty wild story, dude. And the whole time the number keeps getting adjusted, and I was watching it with Asha and then our friend Din, and at the very beginning, and I was like, all right, like Price is Right, let's all guess numbers, and like, man, the number was higher than all 3 of our guesses. I'll say that.
Well, do you know why they're only allowed to have 3 children out of one donation or one donor?
I
I guess.
assume, without giving away too much of the movie, I assume it's to kind of prevent the likelihood of unknowing incestuous relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because like if you're if you're in a smaller community and
Dude.
all of a sudden
Yeah.
there's
There's
maybe
probably 10 or
1,000 kids
15
born
minutes of this
every
show.
year, and if 150 of those are related, there's
Bro.
definitely gonna be some incestual stuff going on.
Bro, in this show, X amount of them get together and they're all like, yeah, we don't live in like that big of a town. They're all looking at each other like, did any of us meet at a party in high school? Have any of us? 2 of their kids, one a boy and one a girl, had no idea they were cousins and went to school together. And they had to go have that talk like, oh, we didn't know, but you 2 are actually cousins. Had this all not, like, what if those 2 grow up and
Yeah.
that's your cousin? You have no,
Yeah.
like, this is fucked up, man. I'm telling you, dude, it got really wild.
Okay, so yeah, I found this shit. Ashkenazi Jew, 0.3%. So that's the one you were talking about, Fred.
Yeah.
Okay, friends and family. Let's see here. DNA relatives. So this is crazy. My dad and I share 47%, 47.54%. My oldest sister and I share 46%.
Sorry, I was reading something. One more time.
My dad and I share 47.54%. 47 and a half. My sister and I
Which
share
one? Older?
Nina
Oh.
share 46 and a quarter. So
Okay.
that's like 1.25% less than my dad, which is kind of weird. My half sibling Priscilla is what it says. Half sibling. I don't know why it says that.
Because you have.
But my next sister also says half. Says half sister. Half sibling, half sister.
Yeah, but aren't they? But that's because you and Nina have the same mom and dad, and then they each have different parents.
Yeah, but why are they both not half siblings or half sisters?
Maybe Priscilla wrote that she identifies as a they.
So yeah, her and I, my second sister shares 21.4%, and my third sister is 21.27%, and then my first cousin is 9.9%.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I didn't really know till my dad did this, but him and I share 47%,
So that means you're made up of more of your mom's DNA than of your dad's DNA.
which is crazy because I am more Portuguese than I am.
Maybe your mom has some Portuguese in her lineage she was unaware of.
Well, now that I think about it, my dad's like 99% Portuguese or like 97%. So if I get half of his DNA, that's like 45%.
Yeah. Yeah, mine came
Right?
back like exactly dad from Ukraine, mom from Scotland, Ireland. Like it was spot on. And then it said that I had some Greek Balkan in
Yeah,
like
me too,
0.2%, and then that disappeared. The more of your family do it, the better the results.
Really,
tune in,
yours
or so they
disappeared,
say.
eh?
Yeah, your results will change with that a little bit. It's fun looking at like if you're a Neanderthal and if like,
Yeah.
it says that I was like more than likely to not like cilantro, and I fucking love cilantro.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool app for like, it's got little traits and stuff in
Yeah,
there.
it's cool. It's cool.
So like, y'all ever listen to the conspiracies about these DNA
Yeah, I've heard.
databases and the genetics research and stuff like that?
Yeah, if you're in Nico and I's family, you should probably not commit a murder because they're probably
Yeah.
gonna get you because our DNA is in the fucking.
In the system.
In the
now,
system.
they have access to it. Oh yeah, 100%. But even that, there's private enterprises that apparently buy their way into these databases for
I mean,
research purposes.
Yeah.
They already had our fingerprints. They might as well have our DNA. Hey-o.
Yeah, they got it all now. We're
Yeah.
screwed.
Fuck them.
You commit a crime 50 years ago and get away with it, but nowadays it's just
Yeah.
they'll get you one way or another.
You know how easy it was to commit crimes back in the day? You could literally do something absolutely terrible, and if you lived in Edmonton, you could move to Red Deer and be straight.
Yeah.
No
Nobody
worries.
could touch you. Nobody.
All good.
There's no issues. That's wild.
But at the same time, if you you could also be wrongly convicted of doing something, and they would fucking stone you to death.
That's true.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Someone could literally just say, "Hey, man, you did this to so and so," and then the next day you're fucking sitting under a noose
Yeah.
or in a noose.
In a noose, yeah. Yeah, specifically if their lawyer is better than yours or whoever is better at convincing people. That's fucked up. For the first time, we did have a couple listener questions. I do remember what one of them was, but I don't necessarily remember what the other ones were.
Yeah, it was a couple.
I'm sure we'll spend more time on some than we will others. I don't even remember how to pull that shit up because I'm terrible at social media. But one of them was about flat Earth, right, young Nico? That was your answer to our own question.
Oh man, fucking okay. So, buddy at
Pull your
work.
mic slightly closer. Thank you.
Buddy at work he's a good guy. He's a nice guy and shit. But I just found out that he believes the Earth is flat.
Like, legitimately?
So he says that he's been researching it. I guess that's what you want to call it. Researching it for like the past 8 months, and he used to believe that the Earth was round until he started seeing, like, I don't know, watching these videos and connecting dots. And if the government would lie to you about this, why won't they lie to you about that? And yeah, like I
mean, we kind of believe that part. The government lying.
Yes,
about it.
I believe the government lying. Well, I asked him though. I said, "What is what do these people gain from lying to us about the Earth being round and not being flat?
Yeah.
What is the gain of?" Yeah, why would they lie to you about it? It makes no sense. And then he said something along the lines of, to take religion out of the world, or to dismiss God or something like that. And I don't know how we were put here in the first place, but like, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, he's been sending me messages, videos. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting, trying to pick his brain to see why.
Has he ever been in a
believes these
plane?
things. Yeah, he has, but he like.
Because that's the thing that always blew my mind when, like, apparently people said, like, Kyrie Irving believed in the flat Earth. It's like, bro, you're literally an NBA basketball player. You're in a plane every other day. Like, you can see the curvature of the Earth. Like,
yeah, he told me he's been in a plane, but like he's giving me like all these numbers and shit. He's like, oh man, NASA says that I think it's 8 inches per mile is the curvature of the Earth. So 8 inches per mile. So that means if you are 3 miles away from me, then that means you technically should be 24 inches lower than me.
or higher, yeah. So
Or
like,
higher.
Bend, yeah.
Because of the bend of the Earth. And he was like, well, when I'm driving down, this is another thing that I don't think he's understanding. When I'm driving home, because he drives to the fucking like Tofield or some shit. When I'm driving home and I can see straight on the road in front of me 10 kilometers or however far you can see, how come it's not curving? I was like, well, the road is built to be flat. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, the road is flat. That's the way the whole world is, not the world, but the road is designed. You know what I mean? Everything's supposed to be flat. Like, when you, like, yeah. I just don't think he understands, like...
Well, and elevation changes, like, everywhere. Like, you don't know, like, it could be a slow
Yeah.
hill. Like, you will never realize this because it's such a small incline. You'll never realize it's a hill, so it'll look completely straight, even though there should technically be a drop because of the curvature of the Earth, right? Like, it makes absolutely no sense. Like, and like you said, when you're on a plane, you can literally see the curvature of the fucking Earth. And it just because if it drops 8 inches over a mile or something like that, or was it 3 inches, 8 inches?
8 inches over 1 mile, yeah.
Yeah, but like you'll always be the same height because your height is based relatively of where you're at. And like, if you're looking at somebody who's 5 feet tall and they're a mile away, you're not going to notice that they're 8 inches shorter because you're...
Yeah, man. Your perception, yeah.
100%, yeah, like, because you're more than like 8 inches off the ground, right? So you're not going to disappear. Like, you're not going to see if they're 4'2" or 4'10" or something like that, or you know, 5 foot tall. because you're not going to be able to gauge that perception. Like just like when you look down an alley or something, it looks like it's getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah,
It's
man.
an optical illusion. The alley isn't
Yes.
fucking smaller. You can walk down there. It's all optical illusion. It's all the way we perceive things, and like our brain tricks us every day. Like, you know, we don't actually see exactly what our eyes are seeing. Our brain formulates a picture
Yes.
that makes sense in our brain, so we can actually comprehend what's going on, right?
Mhm.
So like reality
Which is wild to think
that's
about.
what I'm saying. Everyone's reality is different because that's what it's based off of. What your brain puts together with what you see, right? Like, so technically, some people can literally see things differently, even though we're looking at the fucking same thing because
Or not
their
see
brains.
things.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Fuck. One of the other topics we had was Better Call Saul, but I know I'm the only one that watches Better Call Saul. But it is fucking amazing. The best show on television. Another one was your worst drug experience. Any of you guys feel comfortable talking about that?
I'm a loser, so like I only smoke weed. I don't do nothing else. I barely even drink alcohol. So I'm gonna correlate this with the worst experience I've had trying to go smoke weed.
Go ahead, yeah.
So the homies and I, almost 10 years ago now, we're heading to like Horlock Park to go spend a couple hours there, have a picnic, have a fire, smoke some weed, have a couple brews, whatever. So we're heading there. And we're coming around the corner on 118th by Abbotsfield. And I'm speeding, and I see a cop with his lights on. I'm like, fuck. Slam on the brakes, come further on the corner, see he's already got someone pulled over. I'm like, oh, awesome. Don't gotta worry. Some of my friends who were in the backseat were already high, so they were getting a little paranoid with the cops and shit. But all of a sudden, we see this cop backing up and start backing up behind the car that he pulled over, and he starts reaching for his service weapon. And out of nowhere, man, this guy jumps out of the fucking vehicle and starts bolting across the street. I've never seen somebody run this fast. This guy must have been a crackhead or something, but this guy was at like Usain Bolt speed out of that car and gone. So he's halfway across the street. All of a sudden, he turns around, raises his arm. Man's got a sawed-off shotgun, and he blasts the fucking cop. This shit was like a movie. Like, time slowed down. We saw this cop get fucking smoked. Like, it was just like a big cloud of dust coming out the fucking barrel, and all of a sudden the cop literally flies backwards. He gets taken off his feet. His feet are where his head was, and his head's gone behind his squad car. Like, this guy just did a full flip because he got hit like probably 12 feet away with a sawed-off shotgun. And all of us are like at this point, I lock up my brakes and I stop the car. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This shit did not seem real. And all of a sudden, 3-4 squad cars come ripping down 118th. They just pop out their car and they start blasting this dude who's now running across the median. That guy was dead before he even hit the ground. You could see mid run, this guy froze and was done. So I don't know if they hit him in the spine or what, but that guy was dead before he even hit the ground. Damn. That shit was the wildest time I've ever spent trying to get high. I was just trying to go have a peaceful time, have a picnic, smoke some weed, and we saw a cop get blasted and we saw a perp get shot down. Apparently the cop was all right. He had some pellets in his leg. That's what the news release said afterwards. But that dude was dead.
Damn, we're gonna have to find that news release and send it to Zach.
I can actually show you this. So apparently this guy that they shot was a patient of Dr. Visconti, who ran a pretty prolific walk-in clinic in Sher Park that was known for handing out scripts to children for Adderall so they could study better, handing out scripts for cough medicine for people who wanted to get high, just prescribing stuff they weren't supposed to be prescribing. Yeah, exactly, yeah. And
I found the story.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
The guy's name is Michael David Perot.
Whoa, hold on, Jamie. What did you Google? What did you Bing to find that?
I just wrote Dr. Visconti, patient kills cop, and then it came up with this. It says patient killed by police in 2015. Visconti was granted interest party status in October 2017 at a fatality inquiry into the death of an Edmonton man who was killed by a police officer. Michael David Perot was shot to death by an Edmonton police officer in May 2015 after he wounded the officer's partner with a sawed-off shotgun.
On Facebook about this?
I don't know if I did. Maybe when I read the news article, maybe I posted it. But yeah,
like, and you actually saw this shit?
Yeah,
is that the right thing?
Dude.
Is that the right?
That's
thing?
the right thing. Yeah. So I guess it was 7 years ago, not 10 years ago. But so that doctor was, trying to inquire into that case because he had been prescribing this guy meds, like psychotic meds, and this guy just obviously was off the rails. But yeah, like Dr. Visconti's been through the ringer. He lost his license several years ago. That guy, actually, now he's currently, I think, in court again for fraud charges in a sense, where he was overcharging Alberta Health Services by like millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, he's charging out the ass for appointments he wasn't even making, or he was charging crazy rates for the stuff. So that guy's a bit of a crook, but yeah, I used to go to his walking clinic as a kid. Not forget any scripts. My mom that was the closest walking clinic to where we were, so mom used to take me there. But yeah, years later I found out, because I had a couple homies in high school that would go there trying to get their Adderall scripts and stuff like that for finals and shit. So
Damn.
That's crazy.
yeah, that was
Well,
kind of
I don't have any getting high story like that. That was fucking crazy.
Yeah, I don't have one like that.
Yeah. Needless to say, we still ended up going to the park after.
Well, yeah.
The other homies weren't down to get high. They were shook as fuck. But me and this one guy were down, but like there was a girl, like there was two cars, my car and another car. There was a girl in the other car, and she was freaking out. She's from England, actually. She called her dad because he was a cop over in the UK, and she was having like a breakdown. She's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
That's
I don't know.
wild.
It was wild to me because like I said, that shit was literally like a movie. That shit slowed down. Like we saw, like seeing that cop get blasted, man. Like the way his feet swung up to where his head were, man. Like never seen something that wild. And yeah, like that dude just fucking booked it. And then like yeah, because I was coming from the one side, the cops were coming from the other way, so I was kind of worried about crossfire. But luckily, that guy had decided to run left across the median, so they could like shoot at that guy without hitting us. But if that guy had booked the other way, man, or towards us, bro, that would have been sketch, man. I would have been like, fuck. But yeah, the homies in the back were already freaking out just by a cop being there, and then they saw that shit, and they were like, fuck, let's get the fuck out of here. And they're trying to get me to back out, but I was like, no, I want to see this shit. I want to see what the fuck's happening here.
That's wild.
But,
Yeah, I've had to like talk to the police a few times, and one or two of my friends have like hurt themselves. But honestly, I don't even really have a bad getting high story. Like I've never done mushrooms and had like a bad experience. Really, I've never. Kind of good with that. I don't really have any bad experiences. One time, me and my friends like snuck into a golf course, and one of my friends jumping over the fence like cut his hand open kind of bad. One time, my friends did mushrooms when I wasn't there. And our one friend climbed a tree. They were all going to climb a tree and just, like, check out the stars and shit on said golf course, which we used to absolutely terrorize. But, shout out Jamie, who works at that golf course, 'cause he's a fucking dickhead. He's a bell end to speak about English people. But, he climbed up way higher than he should have, and one of the branches broke, and he, like, fell out of the tree. And he, like, kind of caught himself on one branch, which probably saved him a lot because it slowed down his momentum, all my buddies told me. And, yeah, he hit the ground and kneed himself in the face and bit through his lip, and he was bleeding. And then one of my good friends, Josh, was there. I'll say his name because he wasn't really involved, but he was there. And when the guy hit the ground, he, like, popped up and looked at him, and he was like, yo, man, check out my teeth. Are my teeth all there? Because apparently he kneed himself right in the face when he hit the ground. And my friend was like, bro, like, can you feel all of your appendages? Like, come on now, dude. Like, hold on. We'll check on your teeth after. But apparently all he ended up getting, if I remember correctly, was he split his bottom lip with his teeth when he kneed himself. He, like, partially tore his rotator cuff and broke his wrist. It wasn't that bad for falling. I mean, they were under... All of them were like, man, it had to have been, like, a 20-foot fall. Like, he fell and then fell, like, a decent distance. But... he's all right now. He's cool. You got any decently wild getting high stories?
The only one I can really think of is when I first smoked salvia.
Ooh.
Which is like
I've never tried it.
It's fucking. I've only tried it twice, and it kind of did the same thing for me every time, which is a super weird feeling. It makes you feel like, for me anyway, it makes me feel like I'm like over here, or like I'd be standing here, but it like makes you feel like you're over here, and then you're like being
like
pushed.
There's two of you, or
I don't really know, man. It's
like
fucked up.
Your soul's out your body type of
kind
thing?
of like
Okay.
kind of, but like you're all, like I'm also being pushed. Like it feels like I'm being pushed. Like somebody's going like this. Like so like I'm just fucking outside with my buddies. I'm like, I don't know, 14 years old. And like I was just like running, man, and then like being pushed, like just It's fucked up because it's like you're going like this. It wants you to spin in a circle, which I don't know why it did that. But yeah, like I was just running, and then like out of nowhere, I just took like a hard turn, and I'm like this, like running like this, being pushed or whatever. And then yeah, man, I ended up taking like this hard turn into the condo complex and fucking.
The one you used to live in Clareview?
No, it was in Clareview, but it was more like down in Bannerman area or whatever. And fucking all of a sudden there was like a vehicle parked there, and I fucking hit the vehicle with my head, and there was like a dent like that big. My fucking shoes came off, and like all I heard was like, "Daddy, daddy!" Like there must have been some kids out there or some shit. And then yeah, man, I just like fucking got up, grabbed my shoes, and I was just like, "Yo, we gotta get the fuck out of here, man." Yeah, man, and that's probably like the worst. I've had some like shitty experiences on mushrooms where like you just get so nauseous and you end up throwing up.
I've thrown up on mushrooms one time that I can remember, and it was kind of embarrassing because I was at like a house with a couple people, like me, a couple people, and I had to like go to the bathroom or whatever and puke, and then it was weird because the girl I was seeing at the time, it was like me, her, and then another guy and another girl, and everyone's like having a good time, and then she like paused the music, and he told me about it after, and she like paused the music, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, like I don't even remember what she said," and then he was like, "He went to the bathroom to puke, like turn the music up if anything, like he doesn't want us hearing him, and I don't necessarily want to hear him." And I was like, "Yeah, that was fucking weird, like turn the music up, like I'm an adult, I'll be fine, I just gotta go puke, you know what I mean, I'll be fine." But yeah, that was fucking weird. But to be honest, I knew I had to puke, went and kind of Ally McBeal'd it a little bit, and then I felt like exponentially better after, so it was definitely the right call.
Yeah,
I mean, you've had a couple panic attacks and stuff.
Yeah, I've had multiple panic attacks.
I'm just really thinking about the one time with the bucket where I had to pour water on you. That was a pretty...
Yeah,
that was the day I realized I'm never going to try cocaine. Like, if I ever had any doubt or any, like, thought of doing it, that day right there, I was like, nah, man, I'm good.
Well, I'm not even going to lie. That was pretty good shit. Like, that's like... So... When I first started doing it, I never got no panic attacks. But closer to the end of, like, I don't want to say that's
let's be said. This was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that was like the tail end of my using.
Yeah, you stopped pretty quickly after that.
I was partying pretty good. Like I was partying pretty good around there because that's when we were hanging out at the bucket and shit. Yeah. So a little bit after that is when I officially stopped. But
minus Mexico.
Yeah, well, that's a different story. Yeah,
I'm just
like
airing Nico out.
That's fine. I don't give a fuck. It's people get panic attacks, yo.
Yeah,
and it's content. And it was from the for sure. It was probably from the drugs because, like I said, it was pretty good shit, and that shit makes your heart race. So then you get paranoid, or like you get like super hot and sweaty, and you're like, holy fuck, I'm fucked. And then yeah, I've been hosed down another time too, to be honest, or like put in the shower. The very first time I ever actually had a panic attack is we were all chilling at my dad's house, and he was gone out playing in his band, and we were doing a lot of E at the time, and yeah, I took one of these pills or whatever, and I ended up doing like going and doing we were doing hash blades on the stove.
Classic.
Yeah, and I took like a fucking blade or whatever, and then like instantly like my fucking jaw started to get all tingly. I don't know if you guys ever had a legit panic attack, but you get all tingly, like your body starts to tingle. Your fucking you get like numb in your fingers and shit, and then like out of nowhere, like I didn't know what was going on, and out of nowhere I just like my arms went like and like stiffened up, and I just fucking hit the ground, and then like my buddies were like, what do you want me to do? And I just said, yo, just take me upstairs in the bathroom, because I'm pretty sure I was like soaked in sweat just like sitting there or whatever. And then I was like, yo, just take me up to the shower and like hose me down or whatever. And they fucking did, and I was good to go.
Yeah, that
like,
day at the bucket, you came up
10 minutes later.
And you were like, yo, I need your help. And I'm like, yeah, man, of course. And you're like, come with me. And I'm like, okay. And you start taking me towards the bathroom, which is at like the end of a hallway, and I was like, this is kind of weird. And then you were like, yo, man, like I'm fucked up. And then you took your shirt off, and I was like, this is really fucking weird. And then you like started getting into the bathtub, and I was like, what the fuck? And you were like, bro, just pour water on me. I was like, all right, man. And then we had like a big cup or something. I just kept like filling it up and just pouring it on your back, probably a couple minutes. And then Noof came in. And he was just like, what's going on? I was like, I have no idea, dude. This guy just asked me to pour water on his back, and here I am. And he was just like, Robert De Niro to Noof style. He's like, turned and left. And I remember just filling that thing up, and I was just like, man. I had never done cocaine before that or since, but that day right there, I was like, man, this looks like 0% enjoyable. Like, there's nothing about this that I ever want to experience. So, thanks for showing me that. Some people learn from other people's mistakes. You got any, Zach? You've ever tried to get high and have a fucked up situation? You did tell us the one time that your dad caught you. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, but that was just weed.
Yeah.
I remember one time, actually the very first time I did acid. It wasn't super fucked up, but it was just kind of like a roller coaster type thing. I had gone to my old neighbor Jet Ski's, I think it was his 30th birthday, and they had like a casino night at a church.
Sick.
And we got real fucked up.
That would I don't know if I could go in public like that.
No, we didn't have. We hadn't done acid going out like that.
Oh, okay.
I had gotten. So to preface this, I had bought 50 tabs off
Damn.
somebody,
Jesus
not
Christ.
for myself.
I hope not.
But I was seeing a girl, and she wanted some for her and her friends, so we split the thing. It was 25 each or whatever, 25 tabs each. So anyways, we go to this casino night. I end up, it's all with play money, but I end up winning like a bottle of wine at the end for being like the most honest, because everyone was just like stealing chips. I'm like, no, we got to follow the rules. So at the end, I got this bottle of wine. I tried to chug it on stage, and it didn't really work out very well for me. So we go home. I'm with my buddy, who I will not name right now, but it's not Jet Ski. It's another buddy. And get back. I got the acid, so we each do one tab. It's been about 35 minutes. I'm like, man, this shit's... And nothing's happening. So we do another tab. Still hasn't happened. About 10 minutes later, in my mind, I'm like... I'm hooking up with this girl, and I just sold her 25 tabs of bunk acid. Now I look like an asshole.
Yeah.
So then I text the guy I bought him off of, and I was like, yo, this stuff, it's not really working. And then 10 minutes later, I had to text him back and be like, no, my bad, man. And we were, it was a very long voyage, and we ended up going to the river valley because it's just at the end of my block here, and we ran into some coyotes, and it was just a very mystical time. It was fun, man. But yeah, that's my story.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad trip, but one time we were walking. We used to do mushrooms a lot at this place. The Bucket is just this legendary place. You know what? If you know, you know. If you were back at the Bucket, guys, we used to do mushrooms and go walk around the river valley, or like, because we were right next to it, or a golf course, and we used to go fuck with the golf course a lot. And then one time, I remember I was in like the front of our like 4 or 5 person crew, and we were walking in the river valley, and we run around a bend. And then there was just a guy standing there, man, and he got super startled, and all of us got super startled, and I just remember being like, holy fuck, and he said holy fuck too, and like I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he, like, I instantly could tell, like, he was down, like, there was like 5 or 6 of us, and he was like all shook, and I was all shook, and I don't remember how we started the conversation, but long story short, he's like, man, like, I'm fucking hammered just walking home, and we were like, dude, we're fucking all high on mushrooms. He's like, man, there's 6 of you, I was scared out of my mind. We were like, fuck, we were scared out of our minds. And we just had a good laugh and then went either way. That was like a funny time. It wasn't bad by any means. One time on a walk with Lucy when I was camping, there was like a river through our campsite, and I was just sitting there. When I first got into like the deep pool of thought, there was a bunch of people around me. But then in like I have no idea how long I was sitting there. I had my feet in this river, and I'm just like chilling, and I'm thinking, and like the thoughts started really positively. Then they started to kind of go down a rabbit hole where they weren't necessarily like negative. I was just thinking a lot of like the people in my life, like my family and relationships with them, and how much they do mean to me and shit. And then I started to just get like way too introspective and like by myself and shit. And I was like, okay, hold on. I got to go back with the fucking party. Like, I got to get out of here before I walk down this path too far. Like, I made like a slight breakthrough with my own personal shit, but like I don't want to do this. So I kind of still had the like wherewithal to turn around and not necessarily go down that path of complete introspectiveness. So that was cool.
Have you ever been like that self-reflective while you're just high on weed?
Yeah. Every time I get anxiety. Or like, dude, that's what my That's what my fucking...
That describes what you go through sometimes?
Yeah, it's like my paranoia. When I get super baked, man, I'll just sit there and get all quiet, and it's just like... just thinking about my life, and like it makes me worry about all this shit. It's like, oh, I'm not where I should be. I should have a better job. I should have more money.
Which is the worst thing, because you have a pretty solid job.
I know. It's like worry about my cars. Oh, I shouldn't have bought that. Or like, you know what I mean? It's a bunch of random shit that's just like, I know I have a decent life. Like I have my own place. I got my own vehicle, which is fucking fucked.
Yeah, that's just the bump in the road, though. You'll get past that.
Exactly. Shit happens.
Yeah.
Learn from your mistakes. I got my family. I got a good place. I got a good fucking job. I got money in my bank account. I'm not struggling. Like,
you got a good group of friends.
Got good friends. Blah. It's like, yo, what am I worrying about? It's just like, nope, you're worrying, man. You're fucking worrying, and I'm just like, fuck, man. So like, but yeah, I get super introspective when I smoke weed, and that's like basically probably why I don't like to do that, because it's like they're like negative thoughts. It's never any good positive thoughts until like right now, I'm positive. I have, like I said, I have a good job. Well, yeah, like I know I have a good job, and like even when I'm high, I'll say that to myself. It's like, yo, what are you worrying about? Everything is good, and it's just like, nope, everything's not good. You know what I mean? So like, yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah, it does. But like,
I think like that more sober than I do high, to be honest with you. When I get high, it's easier for me to distract myself when I just smoke some weed. Yeah, and that's not always necessarily a good thing, because it probably leads to like less productivity than I should get done. Yeah. But I do feel like, being alone with my thoughts is a little bit better when I got a little weed buzz on than it is sober.
I feel you. It's easy to get lost in a couple hours of playing video games or going down the YouTube rabbit hole when you're, smoking a little bit.
Yeah, I used to game with Nico a lot, but we haven't been gaming lately. But yeah.
When you said you tried some salvia back in the day, was it like true salvia, or was it like the other synthetic weeds, like the Happy Stars and all that weird shit that they used to sell at the head shops back in the day?
So
this was way before that.
Well, this was at I think we got it from. That's the thing, is I don't know if it was true sal.
Fair enough, but it wasn't like packaged product that you bought at a store or something. It was like from a guy or something.
No, I think we got it from Shell Shock. Or fucking...
Okay.
Yeah.
Call them out.
Yeah, wasn't that wild back in the day? Fuck them.
It was
back
legal.
In the day, you could just go to those places and buy salvia. Yeah. Jupiter, Shell Shock, none of them are above any, at least to the best of my knowledge. You could go to any of those places and buy salvia.
Yeah, so that shit was legal at the time. So I'm pretty sure it was legal because
it's a different compound than THC. So chemically, it's not the same. So it wasn't illegal yet.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was 20 times or 40 times or whatever.
It was crazy.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know what the fucking 20 times or 40 times means, but I know it was. I'm assuming it was potent shit. I only did it twice, and. Yeah, the first time was the super fuck time. The second time was...
Yeah, I never touched that shit, but I had a lot of friends that would smoke, those synthetic weeds, essentially, from the head shops, and, fuck, man, those guys, they would get fucked up. They, from cold sweats, puking, passing out for, 12 hours at a time, insatiable hunger, paranoia to the max, the shit never looked like a good time, just like Fred said.
Yeah,
you saw someone do that and shit, and you're like, yeah, I don't ever want to do this.
Yeah.
Totally turns you off of that. But they did it a bunch of times. They buy the different kinds and shit like that, and they all have different effects, and it was always terrible. It's never good. I'm like, when are you guys gonna learn to not do this? Fuck.
Yeah, salvia is. I don't recommend smoking it.
Apparently, it belongs to the mint family.
Yeah, I heard the reason why they were allowed to sell it is they were selling it as an incense or some shit, or I don't know if they were selling it so you could legitimately just get high.
It was not meant for consumption. I'm pretty sure the bags always said that not for human consumption.
Yeah.
So that's why it was part of the legal loophole.
Yeah, and that's probably why you're not supposed to smoke it. Because of what it does to you.
I had people tell me some crazy fucking salvia stories, though, that I don't even know if they were true or not. The Grim Reaper appearing in front of them and trying to rip their soul through their mouths.
I've heard people say shit like that.
One dude in high school told me that, and then another girl told me that she felt like her brain was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then when it popped and exploded, she was instantly sober.
Really?
That's what she told me.
Yeah, those hallucinogenic drugs, like essentially anything could happen. I feel like I still have the DMT that I haven't done. Which
Oh yeah, I bought you that meth pipe for.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we
goes
were
like-
at your house and you pulled that out of the drawer, I was like, "What the fuck?"
We're about to get wet, boys.
No, I was like,
meth. Let's go.
I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable.
I was working downtown at the time, and he like messages me. He's like, "Yeah, man, I finally got the DMT." He's like, "But I need to get a meth pipe to smoke it." I was like, "Fuck, you want a meth pipe? I'll get it to you. Fuck 5 minutes, bro." There's about 8 bodegas within a 2-minute walk of me that'll sell you a meth pipe, no fucking problem. You got a would you rather for us there, Zachary?
I do, and I got a couple facts, but I'll start with the would you rather, I guess. Or which one do you guys want to do first?
Don't
Whatever
matter.
floats your boat, brother. Elbows.
Well, you can jerk off then.
Yo,
Well, maybe Nico can, but I got some long ass arms. I got some long. Look at me. How am I supposed to? I got long.
I think you. I wouldn't want to not be able to run and jump.
That's gonna be the opening clip. Is Nico doing this?
How would you sit to even shit? Like
That's right.
having no knees would be rough.
Oh,
dude.
just like that. Yep.
But getting up and
Yeah, but
down
getting
would
up
be
is-
tough.
Well, you'd
that
have
would
to
be
devise a
completely-
You'd never be
system
able
of
to go on a
pulleys.
plane.
Why is that?
How are you gonna sit, man? Your legs got to be straight.
They'll just have to strap you to something,
You're just first class for
or they'll
life.
throw you into the bottom. With
First
the
class
rest
for
of them.
life.
Yeah, get that extra leg room.
What about you, Dan? Which one would you rather not have?
I think I agree with Fred. Probably no elbows. I think that would seem a little bit easier because you can still pick stuff up and like.
Yeah.
I have mobility. I feel more comfortable being able
That's
to move
true.
around and getting help from somebody who has elbows.
Walking fucking.
So much of your like your bicep and your tricep would literally be, or like essentially be useless. All of your strength would have to come from your shoulder.
Yeah, and then whatever you have in your wrist, your forearm muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So like, yeah, that would really inconvenience your life. Could you imagine seeing that guy driving?
How are you gonna brush your teeth
Yo, good call.
Yeah. You
or your
can't-
hair?
Could you wipe? Yeah, you could still wipe.
Oh, you could
It'd
wipe.
be getting tough though.
Or you could just build like a thing that you. Could
You'd
put
have
some
to do
paper
the
on,
around the
just wipe
back
your
wipe.
ass
You
on.
couldn't do the underneath wipe though.
No, you definitely could. I don't do the underneath wipe. That's a
No, you're an around the back guy.
Yeah, I feel like if you do the underneath wipe, you're kind of a fucking girl. Sorry.
No, I guess I'm.
That's how you
feminine.
do it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that as
No, I'm
That's
so
a-
offended right now.
I'm around the back guy. For
Around the
sure.
back.
Oh yeah,
Dan?
for sure.
Around the back.
On the back, always. Yeah.
Damn.
I
Because
don't know,
girls
man.
wipe from the front too.
I
man,
guess
is all
I'm just a
saying.
bitch.
I've been
I
hearing
never
a-
said that. That's your words. I said girl.
I've been hearing a lot about stuff about bidets and shit like that.
Hey,
Yeah,
dude,
dude.
you know?
Toilets, man.
Yeah,
I really,
man.
like. I want to try it out, but like bidets are like everyone's been buying. Any millennial in any fucking like Toronto, Vancouver, any like sort of liberal hub, they've been buying fucking.
My
bidets
girlfriend has
out
a
their
bidet.
ass.
Yeah. Would you guys
tried
roll
it,
with
but-
one?
No, I've never
Huh?
tried
Would
it,
you
no.
roll with a bidet if you could? Because you can get those ones that you can attach to the underneath.
That's
of your
what she's
toilets.
got, yeah.
So would you guys have one?
I
I don't
mean,
know. I'd be willing to give it a shot.
my uncle used to have one in his
Who,
old house.
Flossie?
No, my uncle Joe. He used to have one in his house that he built, and yeah, like I don't think I ever used it, but it looked pretty cool.
What if you could put different liquids in there, like a soothing gel or like?
Well, like
Cavassier.
in Japan and shit, where they have that shit down packed, they can have like warm water coming through there, right? You can choose you want warm what temperature and shit
or
like
like
that.
a mist setting? where it's
Yeah,
like-
well, yeah, they're getting really intricate nowadays. They got like 10 buttons for you to choose from. I'm like, holy
Damn.
shit. Back in the day, it was just on or off.
Yeah, yeah. Some water comes shooting up. Yeah.
like a water fountain.
Yeah, that's basically like what it was, a little water
Yeah.
fountain. Yeah. So yeah, I'd rock with one of those for sure.
Yeah, why not? So I guess I'm a bitch, and we'd all use bidets.
You're like this, or like this.
Well, I don't stand first and
Oh,
foremost.
you do it. You do it while you're sitting down on the toilet seat.
So are you pushing back or are you pulling forward?
That sounds weird. You're like sitting down. You're like.
Yeah, I do, and yeah, I do.
What if
pull
have you ever
forward.
accidentally touched the water with your hand?
You never worried about shit getting on your balls?
Yeah, I was
No.
gonna say your gooch is just fucking. it's just greasy.
You're gonna taint your taint if you're not.
Well, do you guys get fucking shit all up your ass crack?
No, I stop at the. And then you
So you don't
check.
think I stop?
I just know. Yeah.
I go. I'm fucking
All the way
all
up?
the way up. Yeah, I gotta get every.
And I gotta
fucking-
stand
gotta
up,
make sure
too.
you get every kernel.
You
buddy.
stand.
I stand tall and I just.
I also do that too. Because then
You guys stand.
sometimes. Well, you can get really in there. You get your fingers in there,
But
and
doesn't
then
it
your
kinda
butt
close up a little?
your fingers get in there more.
That
Dude,
deep.
the butt cheeks like come around your fingers, so you got a good grip in there, man, and you just make sure you get everything. Yo, shitting at work is fucking. Sometimes you gotta wipe properly. You know, like you gotta go back to.
Should you wipe properly all the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, you try, but sometimes there's fucking extra there, I guess.
And then you get
all of
jumbo
a sudden
bomb?
you've been working for all of a sudden you've been working for 5 hours, and now your asshole is fucking itchy as fuck, and you go there and you wipe your ass, and it's like, yo, what the fuck? I thought I wiped my ass good enough before, you know. So yeah, if you stand up,
I don't think I've ever.
your butt cheeks will pull your.
Have I ever wiped my ass standing up? Not that I can think of.
Sometimes you just fucking
I do sometimes.
gotta.
Especially, man, if I got like a wrist injury or something, or like something's hurting, I'm just like, all right,
Or you have no
so
elbow-
much easier, man. Like,
Or you have no elbows?
yeah, exactly. There you go. You're gonna have to stand.
Man, I'll have to try that and get back to you guys.
Yeah, like
Okay,
You
next
never-
week we'll get the
Are you,
update.
you wipe with
from-
your lefty or right?
Right.
I'm a righty.
I'm a righty as well.
Normal. I know. Well, some cultures are just.
Yeah,
your
some
left for
cultures
that.
you eat with your right and wipe with your
Yeah.
left. Yeah, I've
Really?
heard that before. I don't know
Oh
if it's
yeah,
true. I've
honestly,
just heard
a
that
lot of
before.
like
You gotta
Middle
use your-
Eastern and Southeast Asian cultures are like that.
Huh?
Yeah.
That was kind of probably a thing more so before toilet paper. You know what I mean?
Well,
And washing
yeah,
your
places
hands.
where
You just-
hygiene is not as easily maintainable. You know, you can't just
Yeah.
go wash your hands or put hand sanitizer on.
Yeah.
In the poor countries of the world.
You got some facts for us?
Yeah, I got some facts about the Pyramid of Giza, or the Pyramids of Giza, if you guys are interested.
Yeah, I'm
in that.
interested.
Okay, so I'm on this website called Discover Walks, and it's saying Egypt is known for its pyramids. Obviously, the Pyramids of Giza are the largest and most recognized artifacts in the world. The pyramids were built, or that's arguable, but the pyramids were built to honor certain pharaohs of the fourth ruling dynasty of Egypt that were known as the Old Kingdom. It was the first era of Egyptian civilization that lasted from 2688 to 2181 BCE. There are 2.3 billion bricks that were used to make the pyramid, and the exact dimensions are not known because they were in Egyptian units. So here's some quick facts. That was-
Hold on, they haven't found any sort of formula to try to make these Egyptian units a modern unit.
Well, if you think about it, a lot of people think that the pyramids were built by aliens, so Egyptian units would probably turn to alien units, right? So
But couldn't you just measure some of the bricks with a fucking
I've-
meter stick?
I have no idea. I'm just going off what this said.
Yeah,
So
fair
up
enough.
8 billion bricks,
No, I think 2 billion.
3 million.
2.3 million.
Oh, I heard billion too. I was like,
I'm sorry.
damn.
So the pyramids were first built. Oh, sorry. The pyramids of Giza were the first to be built. Pharaoh Yoser built a step pyramid in the Saqqara south of Giza, which is a region, around 2630 BCE. Initially, tombs of kings and queens were underground. The Great Pyramid was constructed after the Red Pyramid. It was constructed. Pharaoh Senefer's Red Pyramid was 341 feet or 104 meters tall. It was constructed at Dashur. This was after the first pyramid in Maidum was left unfinished, while his second was turned into the bent pyramid. The pyramids of Giza have technically shrunk over time. They do not stand as tall as they did when they were first constructed. They were about 450 meters tall today.
Hold on. 450 feet meters?
Sorry, 455 meters.
Oh, okay.
Or no, sorry, 455 feet, 139 meters.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay.
man. The interior of the pyramid has 3 chambers. So
Spooky.
the pyramids were designed as tombs. The Great Pyramid, therefore, contains 3 burial chambers that were intended to house Khufu and a supplication of goods and treasures that he was to take with him into the afterlife. When entering the pyramid, there is a passage that descends about 354 feet, or 108 meters, into the bedrock, and then it levels off. It continues another 29 feet to an unfinished underground chamber, after which there's a hole in the roof that leads to an ascending passage, a 129-foot stretch rising to the grand gallery. This is the only known pyramid with a passage that slopes upward. The chambers of the pyramid are actually empty. The tombs under the pyramids initially were full of human remains and gifts that they were to take with him to the afterlife, and this was very common in the 9th century. After the pyramids were opened to the public, a lot of looting was left. A lot of Looting has left the tombs bare and empty, apart from the Khufu's red granite sarcophagus. And that's enough facts about the Pyramids of Giza.
Cool.
Do you guys think they were actually built by aliens?
I can't remember all the crazy shit that people can't explain. Like, I don't know enough about them.
Well, the blocks that the pyramids are made of are way too big to
people.
haul around. Even if you had so many slaves, it would be extremely difficult to keep the slaves fed and watered enough and housed somewhere within an area to effectively use them every single day to haul these massive fucking things. Even then, they needed like they
just
had
the
logs
actual
essentially,
mechanics.
but this is in Egypt, so like I guess palm tree trunks or whatever. They need something to haul this up. If there's nothing underneath it to help move this brick, it's impossible to move. And like, how did they get it up? They'd have to build a ramp that is sloped so slightly that it would have to like loop around so many times before they even get to the top. Like, because if the slope is too steep.
Well,
they
it's at
can't
the top
build
of
this
like
thing
a mountain or something?
Well, the pyramid is like 100. Like, was it 130
Oh, you mean the
meters
actual
tall.
top brick
Yeah,
of
so
the
like
pyramid.
if they
Okay.
lay the bottom down, right?
I was just thinking
to
the
get
base.
up to the next level. Like, there's no crane that can lift that much weight
yeah.
back in the day.
That's what I was saying. Like the mechanics of it.
Yeah, so they would have to build like very slightly sloped ramps to get up there, right? But like the ramp would have to be so long eventually to get up to that height because the slope has to be so slight because you cannot drag something up at a very steep incline when it's that heavy. No matter how many people.
168 meters or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
it was.
that's what I'm saying, right? So like it just makes no sense. Like the logistics behind how they accomplished this with the tools that we believe they had in that time, this almost seems impossible. So like even from that standpoint alone, it's like how the fuck did this ever happen without some sort of
like
alien
it's like
technology?
incomprehensible for physics.
Yeah, well, yeah, like it's doable, but not in the time frame they did it at, with the people and the resources and the stuff they had at the time. Like there's pretty much no fucking way.
Yeah, this article says they used 4,500-year-old ramp systems, but like Dan was saying, I feel like that would have to be such a that would be so.
Well, yeah, the incline's fucking like this.
So
You
like
can't-
he said, you'd have to build a ramp, and it would
like
have to
that.
do like 700
Yeah.
laps. Just how long that
Or
would
it'd have to
fucking
be like
take.
a fucking 30-mile ramp.
That's
You
right,
know, like
yeah.
how far would that slope have to go out for?
So imagine dragging all those rocks, all that extra distance, like how long that would take, how much progress you make every single day. Just moving the freaking logs or whatever they use to roll the bricks on, moving them each time, you come to the end of it, you got to move the log from the very back of this big brick to the front. Like, none of this is easily doable by, no matter how big of a workforce. Because even then you need to make the ramp even wider to.
And
make
how
sure
long
the
would
brick
that
is there,
take?
The people are there.
Years.
The logs can be moved around the brick. Like it's so logistically impossible. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, that is actually really fucking crazy.
Just like
And
Stonehenge.
there's some other stuff that they still don't know
Yeah.
about it, right?
Yeah, all the time. Well, I mean, like there's this, like they think that the Sphinx looked different, that it was like a completely different design, that it's been redesigned over the time, and we're supposed to be massive gold caps on the top of a bunch of pyramids, like a huge golden cap on top that has been, stolen ever since. Just like they raided the freaking chambers, or like if
And it's supposed
warlords
to be
came through
lined
in the
up with
area.
something, right? Like,
Well, yeah, like the star wise, it's
Yeah.
like they're in like these just like Stonehenge. It's like these certain geographical locations that like they line up perfectly with like the astronomy of the area, like the star mapping or something like that. And for them to know exactly where to place all these and have them all facing in the exact same direction is kind of like really difficult back
like
in the day.
mind
Yeah,
blowing.
like stuff that we're just, that NASA's just been figuring out in the 20th century for us is stuff that they apparently had mapped out perfectly back 2,000 years before Christ. So it's kind of wild. But there's
Yeah.
been so many different civilizations, that over the years that like we're only starting to figure out things now, how highly advanced these people were and how long these civilizations lasted, all these different empires. And something is always lost, right? The history books are written by the winners. So
Yes.
they're never going to write something good about who they beat. They're going to be like, these are the worst people.
Yeah.
This is why we annihilated them. So a lot of stuff gets lost.
Whatever, German boy. No, I'm just kidding.
No. What I mean,
The superior race.
The
well,
superior
yeah. No.
I just give Dan a hard time for being German all the time.
I don't know. I guess kind of wild, man. You can talk about that shit for years. and
No, I mean, you
come up
are
with
right.
new
I'm just making a
evidence.
joke. But
No, I get that.
But you would think that the winner would like take the good technology and just call it their own, right?
Only if they understand it.
The United
Yeah.
And
States.
if they have the stuff to operate it. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
like, if it's based on materials that are only in that land, you're not going to be able to mine that material, right?
Yeah,
like,
you killed the guy that knows how to work it.
that
And now you're
knows a
fucked.
special mixture of minerals to make, whatever
Operation
base you
Paperclip.
need. Yeah, well, I mean, that just shows you, but that's new school, right? Nowadays,
that's
you
new
take
school
those
style,
people.
yeah.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
I don't even- what's
thousands of years
Operation
before Christ, you
Paperclip?
would just kill everybody. You're like, oh, you're part of the old regime.
Fucking,
Death.
No, I don't know who it was,
Operation
but
no, that was
after the
FDR, right?
I'm not sure who it was. After the war, they took a bunch of German scientists that were like super
Oh yeah, and
smart
put him in
shit.
NASA and shit.
Yeah, put him in NASA and
That's the
shit,
only
yeah.
reason the Americans won the space race.
Yeah.
The Russians did the same. The Russians
Won the space race.
the Russians.
You man got really good at Adobe Photoshop version 1.0. Just kidding.
The Russians took about a third of the German rocket scientists, and then the Americans took about 2/3 of Operation Paperclip. But yeah, the Germans definitely were a couple steps ahead of everybody in the rocket game back in the day. Yeah, they
Damn.
could fire.
It really
Shoot.
makes you think. It makes you wonder. Like, I mean, maybe most people don't think about this. I'm just a weirdo. But like, if it wasn't for World War II, like how much better of a country would Japan and Germany be than they are now? Because they both had like, not total resets, but like, they had to lose some years of development there from like getting
Not just
bombed
that,
so
our
hard.
talent got poached, right? Like all these scientists got brought to
Yeah.
America or Russia. Like so, all these people that had all this advancement in this industry,
In their
they're
fields.
gone. That knowledge
Yeah.
has left the country, and just how much research was destroyed or burned on purpose or because of shelling from the war. Like so much knowledge is lost. But then again, the war pushed a lot of technological advancements. The only reason that they built rockets and had jet-powered planes so early is because that's what they were pushing for.
They
If the
needed
war
it.
had never happened, they wouldn't have been frantically trying to research all this stuff. So, it pushed development of that stuff ahead a couple of years, but the application for the general public got pushed back because of the war and the outcome and stuff, and the outfall from what happened, right? They had to rebuild the whole country. They had to rebuild the whole education system.
I was just gonna
Millions
ask.
of men from one generation were lost. So there's a whole 5-year gap or 10-year gap where most of the people from that generation are gone. They couldn't reproduce. So there was obviously
You're from Leverkusen in Germany. For all those
Yeah.
people that don't know, I've known Dan for a few years. He's German. He's from Leverkusen.
You're actually born there?
yeah.
Yeah.
I lived there
Well,
for the first 12 and a half years of my life.
That's what I was just gonna ask.
okay.
So, growing up there, did you ever actually see anything that was like, oh shit, that was damaged from World War II?
Oh, yeah, well, Leverkusen is right outside of Köln, aka Cologne. So it has a really old cathedral. I don't know if you want to look up the stats on this. Go Cologne Cathedral. It's one of the oldest cathedrals in Europe. It's massive. It took hundreds of years to build. That thing has, they're refurbishing it, but that has, bullet holes in some of the things, from the fighting. There's pieces that were, blown off through shrapnel. Things have been refurbished over the years, but
But they could be like, that pillar had to get rebuilt because it got destroyed.
oh, for
and
sure.
shit.
And you can see, you can see all the time, there's still parts that are completely black from pollution from industrial revolution / war and the city burning. But even in Leverkusen, there's a really nice bunker there, like an above ground bunker that houses part of the civilization. If there's an air raid, people could walk in there and shit like that. So you see stuff like that. But to travel to war sites is really not hard. There's how many bunkers they built all over the place in World War II. You can go walk through random farmers' field and find reinforced positions that nobody knows about. They've just been sitting there rotting away. There's lots of YouTube videos on that if anybody's interested. But Europe has so much history. There's the Cologne Cathedral, which has some bullet holes from World War II. So you got 20th century history. You got the cathedral, which when did they start building that, Zach? Did you have a chance to look that up? I can't remember if it was 1200 or 1000 or 1500. I don't know.
1248.
Yeah,
And
1248.
it was
they started
halted
building
in
that
the
cathedral.
years around 1560.
Yeah,
So 300 years?
years?
yeah.
How big is this fucking thing?
The Barcelona Cathedral's been being built for hundreds of years and it's still not complete to this day.
Really?
Even with the advances with fucking skyscrapers and shit, they're still finishing it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Too many siestas.
So there's history like that. Then below that, in that basement of that church is the catacombs, where they've been burying people since 1200 and something. I think actually We got the sarcophagus for the 3 wise men from the Jesus Christ birth story.
That comic book?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, that comic, exactly. There, supposedly their remains are housed in that cathedral. But below all that shit, right next to the cathedral, is the Roman Catholic Museum, or the Roman Museum, one of the two. Yeah, the Roman Germanic Museum. And it's got Roman buildings and like mosaic floors and stuff like that you can see that are from, BC. So like all in that one spot, it's just levels and levels and levels and levels of history.
Yeah.
And the shit gets wilder and wilder. And like as they, they dug tube stations throughout the years and stuff like that, you always find new stuff, new artifacts, new wild shit you've never seen before. And it's kind of cool. I mean, shit, they do construction every once in a while there, and they find unexploded bombs and stuff like that underneath stuff. And then they got to call a bomb disposal team and check that shit out.
That's crazy.
That's wild. I did kind of forget one thing.
Not bad
Zach,
for
you wanted to
rambling.
tell us a story about your week. Oh, he's not listening to me. Oh, there we go.
Oh no, I was just reading stats about the church. Like the Catholic church.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
It is.
Before we go, though, you wanted to let us in on a little story.
Oh no, I. Fuck.
Hey man, you're the one who told me you wanted to get it in.
That's what we talked. Remember we said we would say it and I told you guys in the messenger yesterday, so I didn't have to say it.
Well, I thought you were gonna say it without names and stuff.
Oh fuck.
I mean, you could just edit all this out.
I'd rather say that the cathedral that he's talking about suffered 14 hits by aerial bombs during World War II.
Yeah,
14 hits from aerial bombs. Damn.
Trying to
Thing's
take
still
that shit
standing
down.
and still fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to take that shit down. It's still
And
standing.
it says on March 6, 1945, an area west of the cathedral, the Marzellenstrasse or something. Did I say that anywhere near properly?
The Strasse part is Strasse.
Or the
that means street.
Trenkgasse, is that right?
Die Frankgasse. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's
Was
the
the site
Frank
of
alley.
it was
Yeah.
the site of intense combat between American tanks of the 3rd Armored Division and a Panther Ausf. That's a tank, right?
A Panzer what?
A Panther Ausf, a Panzer Brigade 106 of Feldherrnhalle.
Yeah, there's a Panther tanks that the Germans made during World War II. I mean, they made the Tigers, they made so many, the Elephant. Oh man, I don't know. We can go into World War II and talk about that for ages
Next
too.
time.
We'll just get rambling because I've been smoking.
Is there anything else you guys would like to talk about this week? Anything coming up for anybody that you'd like to discuss in the upcoming week? I got a soccer game. Nico and I got our second last soccer game before the playoffs this evening, so hopefully it doesn't rain.
Before the playoffs?
Yeah, I looked at the schedule today. This says playoffs. I don't know what that means, but
So have you guys been doing well then? That you're in the playoffs or what?
we
We
have...
gotta be in second place.
We're in second place, yeah. We have 2 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss, I think.
Is that like in the whole city of Edmonton, or is that like
No, it's just a
specific
little
district?
shitty co-ed soccer league.
There's like 6 teams in there, seven teams or whatever.
That's all
Nothing,
good.
yeah.
You do it for fun, right?
Yeah.
So, some more than others.
Some more than
Fun and
others, yeah.
frustration.
Yeah, Nico likes to get a little... I mean, I was kind of talking my shit to one guy 2 weeks ago, too, but that guy was kind of a clown. But, I mean, I guess Nico would say the same thing about the people he talks shit about, but... I did see him try to step on somebody's foot last time we played.
Who?
I don't know. One of the guys on the other team. He was just walking past you, and I just know you. You tried to step on his foot and walk away, and I was like, this fucking guy.
If I did, I don't remember.
Yeah.
My bad, guy.
Just seen you do that once or twice in our day.
Fuck these guys. I know it's only co-ed, but they shouldn't even be playing in our league.
That's the thing that gets annoying is you go and you play like a co-ed league, and like Nico and I are like decent at soccer. We're nothing special by any means possible. For all intents and purposes, really just there for a good run around and buddies.
I'm a role player.
We're both just really competitive people, so we get really competitive when we play. But you can tell when there's some guys that should be playing or could have the ability to play in like Division 1 or 2 in Edmonton. And then they're sitting there in a rec league trying to get the ball and dribble past. And it's just like, bro, I get it, but, like, you're a clown. Like, just go play in a good league. You know what I mean? It's like a dude that could play, like, college basketball, going and playing in, like, a co-ed rec league and trying to drop 60 every game. It's like, dude,
Quit being a tryhard.
Yeah,
Exactly.
man.
It's
Like
like fun for nobody.
Yeah.
the guy last week, literally, they were winning by like 3 or 4 goals, and there was probably a couple minutes left in the game. Like literally changed. Like they were gonna win the game, and the ball. We took a shot, and the ball went long, and their goalie was like kind of jogging to get it, which is par for the course. Damn near every goalie, and even Div 4, like they're not running to go get. If you're down a goal, I guess they're running, but like ain't nobody running to go get the ball when it goes out of bounds. They're jogging. And the guy was standing a couple feet away from him, and he yelled to the goalie, no, go. Like, I got to get my goals. And it's like, dude, there isn't even a fucking ref here. We don't even count the goals. Like, there's nowhere written that your name is Tom and you've scored 12 goals in this league.
Isn't?
No. Who would you report it to?
I guess.
If that's the case, I scored every single goal our team scored.
I mean, they gotta report it to the fucking
They just report the
stats and-
numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Half the team we play don't even have numbers on their jerseys.
Or
They're
even
just a black shirt.
Or even have jerseys.
Yeah, you just wear a black shirt. So there's like, dude, if that was the case, then we would just say that Sean scored every single goal for our whole, like, that's how, like, some people would want to win that so bad that it would literally come down to, like, oh, this guy scored every goal, and it's like, prove to me that he didn't. There's no referee there. Like, it's really, like, beer league shit. Anyway, that's the only thing I got going on. Anybody? Going once? Going twice? That's been another episode of 7 Days Makes 1 Week. Thank you for joining us. I didn't fucking say it again at the beginning. Rate, review, subscribe, comment, do all that YouTube shit that you're supposed to do. Share with your friends on Instagram. Share with your friends word of mouth. Yeah, let us know and give us some questions on the Instagram page. Give us a follow and we'll try to answer questions for content every week. Peace.
Thank you very much for having me, guys.